Hey guys, Lively here. Let's talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Let's get this out there right away. Should you buy this game? Yes. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. Fair warning, I will do my best to avoid any spoilers here, and I would strongly encourage anyone to go into this game completely blind. That's what I did, and I'm very glad I did so. Now that that's out of the way, let's dive a little bit deeper. Visuals. This game is stunning. Seriously, just look at this thing. Expedition 33 is a beautiful game with vibrant, fantastic landscapes that constantly fill you with wonder. Every location is a unique and stellar example of how game and level design should be done. Open enough to grant freedom to explore while not being confusing to the point of frustration. Couple that with dozens of optional areas and hidden secrets to uncover, and it's an instant recipe for success. Combat. Combat in Expedition 33 can be a bit confusing. In the early game, I personally made a snap decision during the tutorials that I'd live by the parry or die rule, since it offered what seemed to be a high-risk, high-reward style of gameplay, and I have zero regrets. It was a little frustrating at first, learning how to properly time the prompts to achieve the desired results, but man does it pay off. With the constant inputs and required level of attentiveness, combat truly never gets boring. This is a far cry from the old school RPGs I knew and grew up with. No more button mashing to auto-win battles, no more spamming specific items or spells to breeze through all the encounters. No. In Expedition 33, you really have to watch and learn. Enemies telegraph their moves, and the prompts definitely help with certain inputs, but it's the enemy variety that really makes this shine here. No more palette-swapped baddies to bulldoze through like a lot of other games. Each area has its own set of enemies you need to learn and react to, often with even stronger, more unique variants hidden throughout the landscape. If you truly wish to master the combat stylings of this title, you're in for a long, occasionally frustrating, but ultimately incredibly rewarding experience. Of course, you could also focus more on dodging, which allows for a more generous window to activate your prompts, and you can even assign abilities to give AP on dodging, more on that later, but then you miss out on those sweet counterattacks. And I gotta tell you, I've won a ton of fights solely through the use of countering. Once you start learning the enemy patterns, I'd strongly encourage you to try parrying instead of dodging. Story. Like I said earlier, I do strongly encourage you to go into this one blind. Having said that, I'll keep this section very brief and to the point. The story is insanely good. Please do not Google anything or look up answers to your questions. I promise you, no matter how strange things may seem, they will all make sense as you continue moving forward. Make sure to recover as many expedition journals as you can, as they'll go a long way in helping you understand not only the world, but also the motivations of each character in this game. Leveling. I admit, this one confused me for a while. I didn't exactly grasp the systems laid out before me, but once it clicked, it opened up whole new avenues. I've never particularly been one for builds or min-maxing, but even a brief foray into the skills trees of each character really shows how expertly this game has been crafted. Tons of skills and characters can cleanly play off each other, building one another up and allowing you to choose your own style for each of your expeditioners. For example, I prioritize Lune as a DPS caster that can break enemies as needed, but there's also a clear vision of how she could be used as a glass cannon or a full-on healer. Same with Mael, who can be built around her various stances for maximum damage through burns and virtuous attacks, something that can quite obviously be aided by Lune's affinity for fire. Alongside the skill system is the Lumina and Picto systems. One thing I'll say straight up, as a longtime RPG player, it's always been a habit of mine to stockpile anything labeled consumable. That is absolutely not the case here. As soon as you get any color of Lumiere items, apply them to your characters. These Lumina points will allow you to assign mastered Pictos to your characters, just without the stat boosts they would provide if they did have the Pictos equipped. To that end, you should be mastering every Picto you come across. All you have to do is win 4 battles with it equipped, and then any character can assign it to themselves with Lumina points. As I progressed further and further into the game, I found myself less and less concerned with what Pictos I had equipped for their abilities, and instead focused a lot more of my attention on the stat boosts they provided. If a Picto gives me 800 defense and boosts an ability I don't use very much, that's fine by me. I can use my Lumina to give myself the ability boosts I really do want to focus on, and just equip certain Pictos for defense or speed or critical percent chance. There's also the cost of Lumina on mastered Pictos though, so it's important to also keep that in mind. It's better to have one character with the second chance picto equipped, rather than spending 40 Lumina points to equip it on him. These points can be prioritized elsewhere. And there you have it. I hope this helps you understand the game a bit better and convinces you to definitely give this one a shot. It's truly worth it. And plus, it helps support a smaller studio and shows that games made with passion really can thrive in this world of sequels and reboots. As always, thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Feel free to join me on Twitch TV/LivelyMods pretty much every day at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you all in the next video.